it's Shakur is big because it's Shakur, but it's not really a big fight. We already seen what happened with Spence and and my man
Crawford?
Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's really look at it. They couldn't even outdo Tank.
No, they couldn't.
The numbers could it didn't make sense. And it always happened. And where I get my history from, when you go look at Floyd when he fought African American fighters, look at the numbers.
Yeah, the numbers come down. It's the same demographic.
Come on, man. You got to be smart. At the end of the day, somebody gonna get hurt. At the end of the day, somebody gonna get hurt. You know. So it got to make dollar sense, and I always speaks about it. If it ain't making dollar sense, it ain't making no sense. You know. I always tell Shakur this: the fight gonna happen. It's just with on what terms. Get what I'm saying? And he's sitting in a chair right now. He's calling the shots, but will his team take the money? That's what it's really about.
Yes, sir. And so y'all say y'all sending them something? Y'all getting something?
We're gonna send. We're gonna again. We got to find the biggest fights too. You know what I'm saying? And he's one of the
What other big fights you think there are other than
I ain't even gonna
Shakur?
tell you yet. I ain't even gonna tell you. There's some big fights out there. You'll go, okay, that's a good one.
Oh, there are a bunch of good. I mean, it's Tank's a big fight,
Yeah,
period. So there's
right,
gonna
right.
be
It's some good. Where see, I'm like this. I don't like the Shakur fight unless they deal with the negotiate. It's not because they scared. Nobody's scared of nobody in this game. Let's get that straight. The fighter's gonna fight. We have to save the fighters from killing themselves. You know what I'm saying? But at the
yeah.
end of the day, when you sit there and look at certain things, you need two fighters to engage. Shakur already sit there and say, I'm gonna fight my fight. I respect that. You know what I'm saying? It's my job to crack that goddamn safe. You with me?
Yes,
So I'm
sir.
not even worried about that. And Shakur know that. I'm not worrying about that because the fight gonna happen one day. You know what I'm saying?
So I was listening to this interview Calvin Ford did with Fanon, and when I heard Calvin Ford speak, I couldn't help but say to myself, this is all cap. This man is capping. Coach capping ass Ford. These are a bunch of excuses as of why we're not going to get the Shakur fight next. I already knew we weren't, but this interview solidified my opinion. The Shakur fight isn't happening next. I told y'all, but y'all didn't want to listen to your boy. Devin the Dream Haney said it the best. They say everything and anything except let's fight. Make no mistake about it, I am calling cap on what Calvin Ford said in this interview. And I don't make accusations like this one without showing receipts, so here we go. First lie I'm going to break down is the one he told about Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. He used them as proof. He used them as an example that black American fighters fighting one another does not sell. First off, Bud versus Spence did 700K. In today's time, with pay-per-view numbers dwindling and piracy at an all-time high, 700K pay-per-views is pretty damn good, I would have to say. Because that fight sold more than Canelo versus Munguia. Canelo is the number one seller of pay-per-views in the sport of boxing. His last fight did 500 to 550K. Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence did 700K. So that's one lie debunked. And forget about the pay-per-view numbers for 1 minute. Just take a look at what that fight did for Bud Crawford. Terrence Crawford blew up after that fight. He was doing interviews. You know, he was being interviewed by the mainstream media. The mayor from Omaha congratulated him, shook his hand. The city of Omaha threw a parade for Bud. When that fight happened, I remember that's all everybody was talking about. And you know what really made me shake my head was when Calvin Ford said that Tank Davis sold more than Spence and Bud. But he didn't mention Ryan Garcia. He made it sound like Tank Davis sold 1 million pay-per-views alone. You can miss me with all that. So the second lie that we're going to dissect and finally debunk is where he said that he looks back at the history of when Floyd Mayweather was fighting, and anytime he fought a black fighter, Floyd's pay-per-view numbers would dwindle. Well, that's cap as well, because just in case y'all forgot, When Floyd fought Sugar Shane Mosley, Floyd and Sugar Shane sold 1.4 million pay-per-views. And you see, that's the problem that I have with yes man like Fanon, that claims to be this boxing historian, but he couldn't even remember that Floyd versus Mosley sold 1.4 million pay-per-views. Either that or he's too pussy to confront old capping ass Calvin. Or what, am I missing something here? Is Sugar Shane Mosley not black? Huh? Is Sugar Shane Mosley not black? Let me know down in the comments section, please. Another receipt to prove to y'all that Calvin Ford is a liar is this guy, Mike Tyson. How many times did Mike Tyson need a white dude or a Hispanic dude to sell 1 million pay-per-views? Huh? I'll wait. Mike Tyson never needed a Mexican or never even fought a Mexican to sell 1 million pay-per-views. The best fights for Mike Tyson were versus other black fighters, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. And then this dude, Calvin Ford, had the audacity to compare the numbers that Tank did with Ryan Garcia versus the numbers that Tank did versus Frank Martin. And just because Frank Martin versus Tank did a lot less than Ryan Garcia versus Tank did, that means that Shakur versus Tank is going to do bad as well. First off, let me say this to good old Calvin. There's levels to this shit. First of all, I want to say this. There's fighters like Frank Martin, and then there's fighters like Shakur. He wants to use Frank as an excuse as of why Tank shouldn't fight Shakur. Like Frank is anywhere near as good as Shakur Stevenson. Shakur's on a whole nother level. Look, man, in closing, I want to say this. If you look back in boxing, at the history of boxing, the best fights and the most classic fights were between black fighters. Cassius Clay versus Joe Frazier, Cassius Clay versus George Foreman, Marvelous Marvin Hagler versus Tommy Hitman Hearns, Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield. And this dude Calvin Ford is trying to rob us from seeing more of those classics. Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson is the biggest fight in the sport today. Now I know why Gervonta Davis be moving the way he be moving, because he be listening to this old scary ass punk ass dude right here. At the end of the day, not only does this hurt the sport of boxing if this fight doesn't get made, but it also hurts Shakur, because let's just say that Tank goes and he fights Pitbull Cruz again, right? That check that could have gone to another black fighter now is going into the pockets of a Mexican national who doesn't even live in the States. All that money is going straight back to Mexico to help out the Mexicans' economy. But if Tank fought Shakur, Tank would be helping a black fighter, and that black fighter, I'm sure, is going to put money into black businesses, neighborhoods, communities. I'm starting to go on a tangent now. I just really want to see this fight, man. I really want to see this fight. When I heard that fake news, bruh, I got so happy. Bruh. And then when I found out it was cap, I was so disappointed. But anyways, y'all, man, that's all I got for this one, man. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. And once again, this has been your boy O-Dog Boxing, and I'm out this bitch.